And all, Shadow Temple of the Zeldathon and F Crew teams back here with more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Hope everybody's doing well on this fine Wednesday evening. Yes, we indeed are playing Ace Attorney instead of Zelda tonight. And that is because this case is just so dang long. And this is my last stream that I get to do this week before I have to head out to hang out with family for my sister's wedding, which is going to be fantastic and wonderful and means that I will not be around to stream, which is perfectly fine. Except Monday after the wedding, I'm then leaving for Zeldathon. And I tried to pledge to myself that I was going to finish this case before I go to Zeldathon. And Zeldathon, again, I'm leaving on Monday. So we're kind of running out of dates. I got 2 more streams left. I got this one and I got Sundays. And those are the 2. That's it. That's all of the streams that I've got left here. So yeah, we're going to work on that tonight. And again, Sunday is the next time I'm going to have a chance to stream, because I will not be here Thursday. I will not be here Friday. I will not be here Saturday. But I should be back on Sunday evening early enough that I should be ready to stream. So that's what we're going to do. That's what's happening. And I hope you guys are raring and ready to go. Yeah, I just have to do a quick thing for Marissa real quick, and then I will be ready to go. Where is Marissa? There she is. We're all getting set up here at the 11th hour to make sure that we're set to go for the wedding coming up. And part of that is making sure we got all the pieces we need. Okay, I'm going to print something off for her. She's going to come collect that later on. Sorry, I thought I heard the printer already start without me doing anything, and I was like, what? But yeah, welcome, friends. Excited to have you here. I'm glad you decided that this was a good place for you to hang out. And I'm excited to see where the rest of us kind of play out from here. Okay, let me scroll. Sorry, I've been running around a little bit today, and so I'm a little behind on being prepared for tonight's stream, as one might imagine. But let's get this thing started. On the road, still back home tomorrow late. Sure. Good luck with that. Am I practicing Triforce Heroes while at the wedding? No. We're not going to finish Triforce Heroes during that segment. Don't you worry. It'll become extraordinarily clear why we are not finishing Triforce Heroes. By then, once we get there, don't you worry. It's going to become quite obvious. But yeah, hope you guys are doing good. Hope everybody's having a good time. Let me go ahead and get this thing kicking off, huh? So we are in our 5th night here in episode 5 of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. That is to say, the case 5, Rise from the Ashes, where we have been investigating not 1 but 2 cases. One of which happens to involve the chief prosecutor being accused of murder by way of one detective from the detective the police department detectives. I don't know what do you want from me? Through our investigation of her and the murder that happened there, we have learned a lot about another case that happened 2 years prior. Apparently a case involving a serial killer that killed the brother of this man on screen you see here, Jake Marshall. His brother was also a prosecutor and was killed. And in the process of all that, in order to catch the killer, it sounds like maybe the prosecution did some, let's say, less than stellar things to try and get the serial killer behind bars. And nobody likes that. Everyone's really upset about that because Jake Marshall here thinks there's more to it than what the police otherwise determined. And so tonight, we are going to learn more, I'm sure, about how that case was botched 2 years ago. We're going to learn more about how the detective in our case died and who the mysterious ID number of 7777777 belongs to. All we know is that they are a high-level executive in the police/prosecuting department, and that we don't have access to their file. But most likely they are our prime suspect for the murder of Detective Goodman. So that's what's going on. Let's get started. Do I play Zenless Zone Zero? I do not. No, too many Z's. Get nervous. GG Graves, well, thank you, the Wolfarian. I have no idea what video it was, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hello, Raven, and Golden Tiger, and Nisco, and Pokemax, and Miss G Mama, and Leolite, and Anna Elsa. My day was pretty good, just pretty bazy. Pretty busy. I've had a lot going on today, and I'm already a little tired, but I got to keep going. I got to keep moving. But once I get through Zeldathon, I get to relax, except for the 3 audiobooks I need to record. But after that, I then get to relax in November. Hi, Marissa. Marissa, ladies and gentlemen, and them's betwixt. Hi. Is that it? You got everything? Cool. Okay, let's get into this. See, that's what I'm talking about. No. Oh boy. Oh, order! Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. Wow, maybe I should have finished the stream there then. My bad. Essentially, Lana Skye, we're getting testimony from Lana Skye, the defendant in this case, about the case that happened 2 years ago. And we essentially asked her, did you cheat in that case? And she said, yeah, absolutely we cheated. And that's a pretty bad admission for the law. You know, for a system of law in a country to be like, yeah, we invented and we fabricated evidence to make sure we put that man behind bars, even if it wasn't real. Doesn't matter what he did. That's still bad. And so everybody's very upset about that. I thought I was leaving off on a good cliffhanger last time, but I guess there was just like 3 more clicks to do before getting to a natural stopping point. My bad. Here we go. February 24th, 3:12 p.m. Wright & Company law offices. It's to follow law in the courtroom, in theory, yeah. If you don't, what are we doing, right? We in theory, we have a series of laws that we're all beheld to. And if we break those laws, we're supposed to be punished and penalized for that, right? And that includes the people who enforce and write and, rule upon the law. If we don't have that, then what do we got? The game also thought it was a good cliffhanger. I know, right? I'm just channeling the writers over and over again. Some Murdoch mysteries, heck yeah.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said.
Here we go. This is the one that lit everyone up.
Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order for him to get the verdict he deserved.
Uh-oh.
I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Darke killings.
Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me.
Lana wanted Darke convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me.
What do you mean, what happened to you?
It's all there in the file. Joe Darke's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence.
But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma?
On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Darke tried to kill me.
What? He tried to kill you?
Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me.
So that means you...
Yes. I was a witness in the Joe Darke trial.
I didn't see that one coming. Oh, boy. So Joe Darke, being a serial killer, apparently, who did a whole bunch of killings. And, the detectives, the police, the prosecutors Oh, we're trying to hunt down this boy and stop him from killing people all the time. And they were getting desperate. And according to what their story was, the man slipped up at some point and managed to, what's the word I'm looking for? They managed to catch him in the act of unfortunately murdering one of their prosecutors. But it seems like there's more down to it. We're about to find out exactly what here in just a moment. Talk. Would you talk? Sorry, I'm just catching up on chat here real quick. There's no jury, and the defense and prosecutor are detectives. Yeah, I mean, you have to understand, in this game, it's still very much simplified, right? It's not actually Japan's court system, not even Japan's court system in 2001. Japan's court system is a little tough. It is universally prosecutor biased in that it almost universally, if somebody is accused of a crime, they're almost always convicted of it, even if maybe there's some doubt involved, which is obviously not very good. How we can save Lana from going to jail? I think she's going to jail no matter what. The question is she going to jail for murder, or is she going to jail for falsifying evidence in a trial? This fictional world needs therapists and psychiatrists. Well, this fictional and non-fictional world needs to trust those first, and then, yeah, provide greater access to those things, please and thank you. Good Lord! All right, let's dig on in.
It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day. Unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office.
You're still on 1-5? Yeah, well, it's because -5 takes 300 years to finish. This is my 5th stream on this or something like that.
We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office.
Joe Darke.
It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up.
Jake Marshall's brother.
Joe Darke tried to take me hostage, but before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then,
What happened?
I'll never forget it. Lightning struck and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now.
A permanent picture? Hello, Aurora. And Ellie, hello. Do I like anime? I have watched some anime in my time from time to time. I'm not like deep in the sauce, but I do watch occasionally if I think it's a good anime. Delicious in Dungeon was the last one I watched, which was pretty good. I enjoyed that a lot.
I don't remember the moment when Darke stabbed Mr. Marshall.
So you weren't able to testify about that?
No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why she made up the crime.
Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence?
The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it.
Edgeworth?
Yes, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean. It's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened.
So it's true. Even though he may not have known it, Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence.
After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold, like she is today.
She must not have been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. Is Joe Darke a pun or play on words? I don't think so. I think it's just a good serial killer name. Little sisters and trauma, absolutely. No, I'm sure you do, Cunning. I'm absolutely certain you do. I lack the time still. And, like that's just the game. Like at most each day I have about 40 minutes to consume some form of media. That is my biggest gap. And that is the time that I get to sit down and eat dinner with Marissa. And that time is usually cut into this stream. There's no other time. Anyway, let's keep going. What did you see in the instant that crime occurred?
Darke knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife.
Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl.
I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms.
Poor Emma. You've been through so much.
I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good.
2 years ago. You must have been 14. That's understandable.
Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies and find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any.
I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. Do Emma and Maya ever meet? I don't know if they do or not. I don't think Maya's in the picture whenever she's around, but I could be wrong. Otherwise, I'm gonna be really in trouble for hashtag Team Same Voice. Oh yeah, they'd trauma bond immediately. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma.
What is it?
You said you were in Lana's office at that time, right?
That's right.
Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor.
Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Darke had been taken in for questioning that day.
Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police?
Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office.
But why did he run all the way to your sister's office?
Because the detective offices in the questioning room are right across from the elevator.
Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she?
No, silly. Didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force.
What? That's news to me. Not to mention, I may just be a simple country voice actor, but I believe that you do, in order to practice law, you have to go to school for law. Am I wrong? That's pretty wild that she went from being she went from being a detective to a lawyer very quickly.
After the Joe Darke case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor.
Lana used to be a detective? I better have another talk with her. Yeah, also usually pass the bar. Lots of things that we're just kind of ignoring here, it seems. I don't think there's anything else to talk to her about here. Let's get moving. February 24th, Detention Center, Visitors Room.
Lana!
Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence? I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we?
But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty.
Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago. and how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office.
That's right.
Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? Maybe because she was a detective probably is good enough. No, maybe, but it's just two very different places is all I'll say.
I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright.
It's kind of like, I'd imagine, the difference between like an electrician and an electrical engineer. One person's like designing circuit boards and the other person's like fixing wires. It's just two different minds. One has to know like a deep knowledge of the physics and the systems, while one just has to enforce what's on the books. She got 300 on the LSAT. Dang! Prosecute. Yeah, if Dick Gumshoe ever got like a really famous serial killer, does he become chief prosecutor? Because I want to see it. I want to see him being the boss of Edgeworth. Let's chat. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago.
Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be.
That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth.
It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul.
Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15, there was no murder at the police department.
Tell me it's not true, Lana. What the witness, Miss Starr, said? About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us?
Emma, this doesn't involve just me.
I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so phased before. Uh-oh. Hey, Caden Saidu.
It's true. I was a member of the police force 2 years ago.
She was amazing. They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together.
Chief Gant?
He was the deputy chief of police back then, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gant. He was everything I aspired to be.
They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before reports could even be filed.
Ugh. Have you considered what Emma spelled backwards is? A me. Emma really idolizes her big sister.
But now you're chief
prosecutor. What happened?
I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was
to gain experience investigating crime scenes, so you could use that experience in court, right?
Okay, so that's the play. Apparently she already maybe even had her law degree, but then went into enforcement first. That tracks.
Gant's help in the SL9 case was crucial to its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office.
Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago.
2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Darke.
Second in command? That means the investigation lead was Damon Gant, right?
Yes. Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations.
They even had the same office? Huh.
We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall, and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Darke was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when his final murder took place.
When he tried to murder Emma?
Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Darke.
You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me.
Now you tell us.
Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Darke that day. The investigation was in its final stages, and Darke must have suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down, then fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Ganton and myself.
That's where he found me.
So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana.
It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Darke. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood.
3 bodies?
Prosecutor Marshall, the victim Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect, Joe Darke. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Darke had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious.
What did you do?
To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her.
Can't blame her after all her sister must have gone through.
After that, I placed Darke under immediate arrest.
Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident.
That's right. Quite a coincidence, hmm?
I don't buy it.
What are you saying?
There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident just by chance.
But that case was solved 2 years ago.
At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved.
Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely.
I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Darke.
Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories.
That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Darke at the police department, right?
Yes, in the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself. The chief's office.
Maybe we should have a look at the chief's office. The site of the final SL9 murder. Okay. Anything else we should hit up, though, before we go?
Attorneys and prosecutors have no business showing evidence outside court. It's taboo, especially when the interests of both parties are involved.
She really means it.
Anna?
It's kind of wild, considering the fact that she, at the moment, is not really a prosecutor in this case. Her job is to not die. Well. To the Criminal Affairs Department. February 24th, Police Station Criminal Affairs Department. I don't see Detective Gumshoe anywhere.
Things seem kind of quiet around here today.
You're right. The chief of detectives seems the same, though.
Why don't we go look for some other people to talk to?
Right. We can come back here later. Well, I was hoping to catch, I'd go to Gant's office, but I guess I don't know where that is. February 24th, Police Department entrance.
Howdy, Bambina.
Oh, Mr. Marshall.
Never thought things turn out the way when boy. Never thought things turn out this way when I woke up this morning. Que sera, sera. You never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? Should have known my luck it would have run out when old Billy dried up this morning.
Billy?
Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed?
Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner.
But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it?
He's actually addressing Phoenix. It's like, come on, man.
Why did prospectors head west? there was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was that one.
Hey, Luna the anime lover. How you doing? Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened?
Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today.
All right, let's chat with him. So we had Jake Marshall up on the up in the witness stand last stream, and we were discussing with him what his involvement was with the with the case. Turns out he was trying to steal evidence from Detective Goodman's locker regarding that case that happened 2 years ago, and he punched a police officer unconscious in pursuit of not getting caught doing it. So he is definitely under arrest. But in the meantime, we can at least talk to him about a bit about what happened 2 years ago.
Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. Wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so.
What do you mean fishy?
Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon.
The murder weapon? You mean that switchblade knife with the broken tip?
That was Joe Darke's, all right. But in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised.
A question?
The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained.
What does that mean?
Means there's a good chance the knife was not the murder weapon.
Ugh.
However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased.
Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence?
That case left behind scars on all of us.
The scars that the SL9 incident left behind.
Prosecutor Marshall, let's talk about your dead brother.
I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best.
Sorry, I don't know where my brain is today.
He was one of the best prosecutors around. I just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together.
How old was he? Your brother.
He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that day. That very day.
The highest honor? You mean the
King of prosecutors.
I knew it.
What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor.
Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother.
The day the SL9 incident took place, that wasn't the same day as...
That's right. It was the day of the evidence transferal.
Interesting. So the murder that happened in present day happened on the day of evidence transferal, friends, which was supposed to be this big day that all evidence from quote unquote closed cases would be sent into deep storage. Apparently, this case also happened on that same day 2 years ago. It only happens once every 2 years. So I guess they should be more expecting of murders every 2 years.
It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die.
Apparently, someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty.
There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired, and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room.
What about Detective Goodman?
If they did something to him too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious.
They?
Who are you talking about?
Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean, Damon Gant and Lana Sky.
If I didn't already say hello, by the way, hello, Luna the Anime Lover. Welcome. And Callan TDM Plays, hello, welcome to you as well.
The investigation lead, Damon Gant, and his second-in-command, Lana Sky. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both their careers.
After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right?
Yeah. Damon Gant, new chief of police, arranged for that to happen.
Hello, Moondrop. How you doing?
She's never been the same since she left. Everyone knew or said so. Chief Prosecutor Sky was totally different when she was detective.
Now that he mentions it, Emma said something like that too.
Tell me, what happened to my sister?
Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. Never found out.
Lana's secret. It all started 2 years ago. What's my favorite voice to do? Probably either Marshall's here or Gumshoe. Those are probably my two favorite to voice in this. Gant is up there too, but I'm still working on it a little bit.
So, there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner?
It was certainly enlightening.
There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. But someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina.
Bye! Well, I guess we're moving on. I think that might just be the end of Marshall there. I do not know if we see that man again. February 24th, prosecutor's office, underground parking lot. Really don't like the new interface. I have not opened the Twitch app since it's been updated, but I have heard universal disdain for the app. No one's here today. Not even Miss Starr.
Everyone's probably busy looking into what exactly went down in the evidence room.
There's a creeper in my background, yeah. He is actually a refrigerator.
That must be where the detectives are.
We proved in court today that on the day of the crime, no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15 p.m.
Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case.
But instead, it just looks like we ended up making Lana look even more guilty.
Hang in there, Lana.
I gotta find all the answers by tomorrow. All the drinks Shadow has doubles explosives. No! Hold on, let me swing up that Twitch app. Oh, yeah, I see. I definitely see what you guys mean. It's just, yeah. It's designed for a hope that people will start like flipping through streams like they do like TikToks. And I just don't know if that is necessarily what's going to happen. And it's just not very good. I just don't like it. Live clips started playing over your audio. Yeah. Like, I'd be fine if like there was a separate portion of the Twitch app that did that for Twitch clips. You know what I mean? Like you could do like just a clip kind of thing. But let people get to their live streams, man. Let people just get to their live streams. Admittedly, I've built a lot of my own stream like career off of just people knowing where to find me, right? People don't usually have to go and discover me. They usually my base viewership already follows me most of the time. So I get that it might eventually be a better win for discovery, especially with a younger audience coming in. But for my era, it's not so good. February 24th, High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202.
Mr. Edgeworth isn't here.
Maybe he's being questioned by an inquiry committee. He took a real beating in court today.
Yeah, with Lana admitting to falsifying evidence 2 years ago.
Guess he'll just have to come back later. So, who wants to talk to us today? I feel like I've gone just about everywhere. Where's there left? Oh, back here. All right, fine. Have you ever think to become a lawyer IRL? No. You have to understand, a real lawyer, like an honest to goodness, actual factual lawyer, a vast majority of their day is paperwork. It's not fun, running up and pointing your finger at people in the, from the bench and like doing all sorts of wild stuff. It is usually a vast majority of it meetings and paperwork. February 24th, Police Station, Criminal Affairs Department. This place is pretty empty, but today it's deserted. Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. Oh, he actually talked to us. Well, the Chief Prosecutor is saying that what she did and the decision about what to do about Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention her statement to the media in tomorrow's trial, there's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sounds like way too serious, but I mean, on the other side, it should be serious, right? Matters of law should be the most serious things of all, because if you get it wrong, justice isn't served, and that's bad. You should be able to serve justice in a serious way. Very important. Sorry. I clicked away from the game for a second because I thought I saw an email come through, and I clicked back through and had a Blue Sky up, and just a tweet that someone screenshotted on and then put it on Blue Sky made my brain short circuit for a second. So I was just like, anyway,
Sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office.
just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor.
Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything.
Hey, you're right. You can't go in there. It's off limits. I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. What was my other what-if option if I didn't go to engineering? I didn't really have one. Engineering was kind of my choice. Growing up, I mean, my parents were both doctors, and, there was maybe a thought that I was going to do that. Can't handle blood, though. Not in that amount. Nope, can't do it. So engineering was pretty much my beginning and end. Like, that was my whole plan. There were some people at the, I used to go to church a lot growing up. They thought that I was going to go into the clergy. I was going to become like a minister. Because I guess I did like a couple of like speeches in church at some points or another, and people thought I was really good at public speaking. And there was a push for me to go in there, not by my parents, but people at the church, and I was like, all right. Yep, the best Jesus since Jesus. That's a long story. What was it? 8th grade, I did like, so at my church, they had like Lenten services, right? The period between Mardi Gras and, or Ash Wednesday and Easter, they would have like all the kids put together skits and stuff to kind of figure things out, or tell stories about like the time of Jesus. And I got thrown into a scene and played Jesus. And apparently the performance was good enough that like two old ladies, their entire memory of me for the next 15 years was the time that I played Jesus for a 20-minute skit in 8th grade. I always remember the time you played Jesus, and it was so good. It was like, Okay. Thanks. So there you go. Best Jesus since Jesus. I don't know, man. I do not know.
What were you waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office.
But understand, I was not a theater kid growing up by any way, shape, or form. Like, any stretch of the imagination was not a theater kid. And so, you know, the voice acting and doing all sorts of stuff like that was not part of my plan at all coming out of high school. That all kind of formed post-college. Wow. Sorry, I'm just now taking in Chief Gant's office here. It's something else, isn't it? Not a theater kid, just a carpenter. A carpenter named Jesus. Whoa, where am I?
In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door.
Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it?
Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. I thought I was a genius until they started teaching me notes.
You just hit a note.
I never could remember where C was.
Ah! Breath support. I gotta remember breath support for this one. Hello, Aiden.
Oh, it's you two.
Chief Gant! Put that paper he was reading in his desk.
So, righto. Have you been swimming lately?
No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately.
I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too with what in Mr. Marshall's misconduct in Lana's provocative statement.
Provocative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? The arches, they're called buttresses.
2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there?
Hey guys, do you recognize that? Do you recognize a piece in the back there? There's a certain thing that we didn't notice before.
That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me.
So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
We took it to commemorate our work together.
Something is not right with this picture. Can't quite seem to put my finger on it, though. Gant team picture added to the core record.
Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out together.
Oh, but this office. It was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That case has been long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore.
All the same, we'd still like to have a look around.
Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend.
His beard forms an upside-down clamshell.
Looks like we aren't welcome.
Seems that case isn't over with yet, after all.
What do you mean?
Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there.
You mean like a clue?
There's gotta be a way we can get inside the chief's office. Let's see here. Nah, it just turns out he actually has a pool there's like a retracting floor and it turns into a swimming pool, and he wants to keep that all to himself. We got to find a way back in. February 24th, Police Station, Criminal Affairs Department. Hey, pal. Detective Gumshoe, aren't you supposed to be in a meeting?
I'm, just taking a breather. My feet hurt.
From sitting so long?
Actually, I'm serving everyone coffee.
Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop.
Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth?
Edgeworth? No, why do you ask?
He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battle's between you two in court.
That sounds serious.
Is it because of what my sister said?
It's basically what it all boils down to, yeah. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood.
Yikes.
Edgeworth's crisis. But why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lana Skye is the guilty party here, isn't she?
Thank you, Raven. Regardless, the prosecutor's responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, but as you know, there's been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor has kept him safe from those who don't like him. But now, with this,
Are there really so many people who hate him?
in our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know of for making enemies.
Hey, Dick! Keep up the good work!
Yes, sir.
Let's go out for lunch again sometime. My treat!
Yes, sir.
You gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay, Dick?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a little cutthroat here, guys. It's just awful.
Hey, wanna go to the ice skating rink after work?
Yes, sir. Everyone is out to get you.
Hey, who wants to do karaoke?
I'm in. Dangerous business.
Seems like you don't have any problems with enemies.
Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing. It's the only time they allow me to read.
He seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find out anything?
The only evidence Doc left behind was during his final attack.
His final attack? You mean
when he killed Prosecutor Marshall, who was trying to protect some girl.
Me.
Seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl.
That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all.
Well, what was it?
Oh, let's see. I think it had something to do with the murder weapon. No, I forget. Look, it's all written in somewhere in here, right?
His powers of recollection never failed to impress.
Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. Might jog his memory.
All right, let's do that before I forget, because I did forget before. Want to go play ponies?
Yes, sir. They're out for blood. I don't even know what ponies are. I mean, I know what a horse is, but I don't think this man owns horses.
About this.
Hey, is that a knife?
No, I don't want to die today. Come on, man. It has a tag attached to it. They label SL9 incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. His name, not kindness. No, I really thought so too. Oh, I just now understood that.
What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker. And yet, here you are walking around with it.
the day Detective Goodman was murdered, this suddenly disappeared from the locker. It was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler.
That's it. Now remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me the knife, it all came back to me.
Well, what is it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again.
It's fading. You better hurry. This knife, it was Joe Darke's, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at. Plus, it had his fingerprints on it, too.
But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right?
That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken. I don't think you have to look that hard.
You don't have to take a good look to notice that.
Thanks, Emma. Yeah, well, anyway. Take a guess where the broken off tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in.
Where was it?
You're supposed to guess. The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. He was found deep inside the stab wound. Did it match Darke's knife? You bet. Down to the last fiber.
That's pretty conclusive.
Let's try to get. Hey man, if I had any power elsewhere, Miss, I would 100% take it. If I had lotto numbers, I'd let you guys know. You'd be the first to know. Nah, not you. My $10 Patreon subscribe. Could you imagine? For $10 or more on Patreon, every month I send you lotto numbers, like, individually. These are guaranteed! Nope, these numbers are not guaranteed. What am I drinking? I'm drinking some lovely Sencha Green Drishi tea. Keeps this voice going, man. Keeps this voice going. Now, if you want to get yourself your own delicious cup of tea, you go to cupoftea.com, use the promo code Shadow Temple at checkout for 15% off your purchase. For some high-quality loose-leaf tea on over there, go hit it up. Oh, there's 100% of psychic out there doing exactly that, yeah. Man, speaking of fortunes, I got challenged by a fortune recently. Marissa and I, we went out a week ago or something like that to a Chinese restaurant. And at the end, they gave us, fortune cookies and all that jazz. And the fortune was something to the effect of, you are an intelligent, clever, and persuasive person. Now prove it. It was like, whoa! Slow down! Getting called out there. Yeah, that is what that tweet said. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, anyway. Cookie needs to chill, huh? Switchblade knife updated in the court record. What were my lucky numbers? I did not look, unfortunately. I don't really subscribe to the notion of quote unquote lucky numbers. My influence upon numbers provides no greater advantage in randomness than anyone else. Joe Darke was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. A businessman? What made him take to serial killing? One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car. He thought, wow, what a rush.
With his car? So it was an accident?
An accident, yes. But it transformed him into an animal.
An animal? Like a mongoose?
No, not that kind of animal. But a kid walked by then, so he killed him too. Then he was piling up bodies. A jogger came up and was killed as well. Finally, he turned himself in. So he ran over a person and it was like, well, here I go, killing again. And he just killed 3 more people? Seems like he was a pretty careless animal.
Of course, this is all conjecture, which is a fancy word for I made it all up. There wasn't a single shred of evidence.
So he turned himself in?
Yeah, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but luckily Doc was arrested on the spot. It was a good thing that last witness wasn't killed, though I'm sure it's messed her up completely. Poor soul, wherever she is.
And Emma's like twitching. That last witness, aka Emma.
Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know.
Can I ask you one more thing?
What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gant. He's giving out $50 like it's no tomorrow.
It's not the money, but it does concern the chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered.
The chief's out now and his office is locked. But we'd like to have a look around if that's okay.
Well, any detective's ID card can unlock the door.
What? Really?
But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust.
Breach of trust?
Simply put, I'd be canned. Oh, sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you.
How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's.
That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died.
That's good security. I appreciate that, actually. Yeah, if you keep counting the witnesses, then you don't fail the mission, right?
Oh.
So in other words, Gumshoe's our only chance of getting into that office.
Wonder if there's something we could show him that would make him change his mind.
Okay, so we gotta find something that will convince Edgeworth or Gumshoe that something weird's happening here.
Let me share a little advice with you as a detective. If you don't have a clue, keep your trap shut.
I'll keep that in mind.
Sheesh.
I don't think we have any evidence outright right now that would indicate that we could convince Gumshoe to like immediately let us in. I think we have to go somewhere else and get some more info. If I had to guess. Let's ask Lana about this picture. Nothing? Come on, Lana. Talk with us, girl.
Still nothing. Why? Why?
Nothing there. Nothing there. Here we go. Oh, that is something interesting. I've been curious about this for a little bit. If you take a look, the trophy is sitting on Edgeworth's couch right there, which, by the way, if this man is as much of a neat freak as I think he is, why is that trophy sitting there and not like on his shelf now that it's been like 3 days? Shouldn't it be somewhere else by now? Yeah, take a look at that. So that's the K with the with the big shield. And take a look at that same award in this picture here. Well, something interesting there, ain't it? Ain't there something interesting there? Just noticing something. February 24th, High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. Wonder if Edgeworth is back yet.
There he is. Looks like he's writing something.
What are you doing here? He sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. He was writing me a poem, wasn't he? I knew it. Tough day in court, huh? I've had to live with the past 2 years with rumors flying around. It's another allegation to me.
Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm rooting for you.
That's Edgeworth for you. Always trying to hide his real feelings. So, what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. All right, settle down. Forged evidence. There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I've used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to, and nothing I can do can erase that fact. But you didn't know, did you? I mean, that the evidence was falsified. The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error. My responsibility as the prosecutor in charge. That fact remains the same no matter what excuses I might have.
Mr. Edgeworth.
I take pride in my work. So tell me why. Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a heartache. Why's it all come to this? Even Edgeworth can't keep up this kind of emotion bottled up. Tomorrow's trial. How much does Miles need a therapist / counselor? Everyone. Everyone in this entire world needs therapy. But also our world too. So, you know. If anything, it's the most realistic part of this game. Are you up for trial? Are you up for the trial tomorrow? First last year's trial and now this one. Seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves.
But, Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial.
Tomorrow's the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? The list of evidence. It seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. It's only half as long as most lists? That is odd. After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do. Use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at the time.
Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time.
That picture? Something seems strange about it. Let's hit it before we continue. Bush. This picture was hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He had just started making a name for himself. Autopsy report is outdated. It is really the worst thing in this game. It's like, oh, you noticed something that was correct. Oh, well, so sorry, but just kidding. Take back, Sears. Ugh. So mean. Anyway. Looks like this is when this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy.
Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me.
Yes?
The trophy that Mr. Marshall's holding. It's a little different than yours.
Yes, you're right. I remember now. Remember what? That is what the official prosecutor's trophy looked like until 2 years ago. There's a story behind its design.
A story?
Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. I mean, all the music in this series are just bops. They did a good job of just filling the space. Could you tell us again about what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered. You were participating in a ceremony over at the station, right?
I've never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one.
Because you were awarded this.
Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department.
You finished up at the office?
Yes, just odds and ends, clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is until I was asked to take something back.
Take something back?
This.
Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he?
Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office.
That's the story we heard yesterday. So you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to?
That's right.
The King of Prosecutors Trophy!
This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. The first means halberd, and the second means shield. Have you heard this story?
Me? Sure, everyone knows that, but why did you tell, though, for Emma's sake?
Very well.
It's kind of interesting that they're playing the cross-examination music here.
Long ago, in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. One day, he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield that he claimed could withstand any weapon.
Wait a minute! Those claims contradict each other!
Yes, duh. Very perceptive. But then again, you've heard this story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very descriptions of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless. And thus, the Chinese word for contradiction was born.
Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and broken knife symbolize...
Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words, but it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this.
Wow. Thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today.
Babe, please don't shout in the office. Leave that for work.
That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield?
Not to ask Chief Gant.
You said it, not me, miss.
2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the award abolished.
Chief Gant? So weird. Just didn't like that broken sword, huh? No other reason? Cool, anyway. King of Prosecutors Trophy updated in the court record. Is Emma in investigations? I don't think so. I could be wrong, because Emma's too young in the timeline when Ace Attorney Investigations comes out. Because it happens like immediately following the trilogy here. I think Emma's in her first year of scientific forensic investigation, like the same time that Apollo enters the law, or the court. Could be wrong.